Today's topic is homelessness. So, a lot of people are homeless for a variety of reasons. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts on it. What can we do to help it? What can we do to prevent it? Like, what is the solution? Why are there so many homeless? It's a pretty good topic, I believe, to have. So, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
You ever given money to a homeless person?
Yeah.
I never have. Man, I'm an ultra minority.
I've bought food. I bought food for it. Like, I went to Taco
Bell. Tell the short version of that story. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I went to Taco Bell where there was a homeless guy. He asked for money. I didn't have cash on me. So with my debit card, I went inside and bought him a $5, what is it, that $5 case?
Some box, like a meal.
Yeah, I just got it for him. I gave it to him. And he wasn't interested in it. And he just left it. So thankfully, Taco Bell actually refunded my money for that because they had recognized him. He was there often. They knew that he did not accept food, that he just wanted money. Mm-hmm. But whatever. But yeah. But I've also donated money before, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where, it's really unfortunate for him to be homeless. I'm sure he had his reasons why he would rather have cash that I'll never know.
You probably weren't the only person. The only stuff I see about that, why they turn down food and stuff, is because when they do, say they are, asking for help from people, and say 50 people had the same idea as you, what are they going to do with 50 Taco Bell meals?
Can't you know it's going to go bad before they eat it?
Yeah, I mean, it might come off as, ungrateful. They only want our money to go buy drugs and alcohol. Yeah. But when you're the 15th person to buy him a meal today...
Yeah, well, he actually asked for food. He wanted money to go buy himself some food because he said his stomach was hurting. So when I actually did that, because I was thinking on that was weighing on my mind. And I was like, oh man, here I am about to get a bunch of food because I was there, ordering for family and stuff. So I was like, it's going to be crazy if I walk out past this guy who says he's starving so much that his stomach hurts and I just have all this food on me, like... It just felt weird, so I was like, you know what? I'll give him $5. I'm not gonna be hurting over $5, So, and I tried, and he wasn't interested in it, and at first I was kind of offended by it because it was like he looked at me like, what the heck am I going to do with that? Like he looked at me like I was dumb or whatever. But I don't know. I know like there's a lot of it has to do like just I don't know. It's so weird because you don't really ever know why someone's homeless because it could be so many different things. It could be them addicted to medications that are just, or they need to rely on medications that are just insanely expensive. Like the housing market right now is just insane. A lot of people can't afford that. People can't afford healthcare. It's just so many things.
It's a lot of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Why people are homeless, unhoused, technically, I guess
right.
New term.
Just say homeless.
I know.
I'm okay with homeless.
I am too. Yeah. I don't understand why they say unhoused.
Yeah.
One way to get offended because they are without home, which is maybe homeless.
You really can't.
I don't know.
You really can't judge anyone unless you actually get to know that person and understand their reasoning because it's
1000%.
Because there's absolutely no and it's just solution is the obvious answer is have more affordable housing. That's really the obvious answer, but also
it doesn't always work.
Yeah,
because a lot of the reason that people are homeless is because of mental health issues.
Just going down the chain, thinking about this. So, good point, Josh. Right? If you're the 10th person in a row to get food, what are you going to do with your 6th Taco Bell meal that day? It's a fair point. What do these homeless people do when they get money instead? And this is not like a mean comment, but what do you do with the money instead?
Yeah.
Well, you can not buy perishable food.
Yeah.
You can buy
water
or a container to hold stuff, or even just if you get a hotel room for a night, just one night with a bed and a shower.
Yeah.
That means more than somebody buying, somebody giving you $10 for Taco Bell.
Right.
I know you don't want to. It sounds ungrateful. You don't want to be ungrateful at the end of the day, but it is. I've never been in that situation. I can't imagine. You get into survival mode. So I bet you become really like harsh, hateful to the world around you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I guess that's like when you talk about like the guy, how he reacted to you. He's probably used to interacting with complete strangers like that. Like he doesn't even think about that, but like here you are now, like still talking about him. Like people just get hateful.
I often wonder what actually helps the most, because like I think my own chain. I think kind of insightful. Like there's lots of places you can get entry level job, like Target, fast food type, etc. Not high rolling kind of jobs, I admit.
Yeah.
You could probably make enough for super cheap living. However, I do recognize getting out of the cycle is hard. Like you don't have a phone, or you smell bad, or no address.
Yeah.
Like people don't want to hire you. So like how do you does like giving somebody $20 break that cycle?
Probably.
How do you effectively?
Yeah. Well,
like is it actually helping them? I don't know.
There is a wide.
That's what I struggle with.
There seems to be a widespread like stigma about of why someone is homeless. A lot of it is like they're a criminal that got released and they have nowhere to go. So a lot of employers might look at them like that, or they're addicted to drugs, or there's a lot of things like they almost there's kind of a like they're the ones they're homeless because of something they did that was wrong. Like there's some sort of like thing that employers just have against homeless people that there's a reason why they're homeless to begin with, and therefore they don't want to bring them in, because there's like this false narrative about them that's not true about all of them, but like they just assume that they have mental health issues. A lot of employers don't want to deal with somebody that might blow up at any time, or someone that is maybe they're a felon. They can't get a job anyways. It's a lot of things.
Some of the stuff I've read on Reddit before, because it's been a pretty big topic on like the Ask Reddit stuff. Like 30,000 people comment and they'll give their perspective on it. And a lot of times it is really just somebody is down on their luck. Something like you said, like, somebody that has mental illness and then say they have no family. Say like they only have like a mom or a dad, and then they die, and then they have nothing, and then they're just thrown out, and then they can't get a job because they don't have an address, and they can't get a bank account because they don't have an address, and then they just end up on the streets, and then like people say, "Oh, go to the homeless shelters, go to the job stuff," but then I hear that you can show up to these homeless shelters, but they only have a limited amount of space, and if they're booked, which a lot of times they are booked, they'll just tell you like, "Oh, we can't take you," so then you're just stuck, and then you're just on the street. And then it's like, well, what do I do? It's like, I can't get a job because I don't have an address.
Right.
I can't get an address because I don't have a job. Like,
yeah.
And it literally is just somebody that's just like, I was just dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Being homeless sounds like a vicious cycle to me, because no matter what you do, you're breaking the law because you're on unwelcome space. You're either on public property,
it's so expensive to be
it is.
or you're trespassing on private property. Like you literally have nowhere to go. I mean, I remember working in St. Louis. I used to see them get evicted from underneath, from overpasses and stuff. And then they have to take their cart and go
their area, which is so detrimental as a society to do to somebody when that's literally all they have.
A lot of places that stuff's protected.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's just why
I don't know. We didn't really.
My only thing is like, because panhandlers exist, that gives people the excuse to not feel sorry for anyone that's homeless, because there might be one panhandler on the one corner of one intersection that they see every day. That just automatically means that every homeless person is a panhandler, and then they're all just, because like I see comments all the time, like there's this Nextdoor app because we do have homeless people in the area that we live in and stuff, and they'll say like, "Oh, I gave this guy $10 the other day, and he was still there." I was like, "What?
What do you think your $10 is gonna do?
Are you gonna go buy a $10 home?
What is that gonna do? That doesn't even get you a shower.
Or
at,
they'll say,
the rest stop or
they'll say, "Oh, their shoes are nicer than mine." Like, why?
Someone gave them to them.
Exactly, and then also they could have just became homeless. They could,
Yeah.
if we were all to start out homeless right now, I guarantee
Yeah.
We will
Say,
not look the stereotypical homeless person right away. Through time, though, as our stuff ages and we can't replace this stuff,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
On that Reddit thing, where some of them been homeless,
Mhm.
so like that
It
perspective.
came from people that
So
were
mostly
like,
that were.
Yeah.
And did some break out of it?
yeah.
What
I don't
kind of
know.
steps do you recall at all?
No.
Like people, because
A lot
I
of
think
it
that's a
is
valuable
just-
opinion. Like
that
people
is.
that have been that and then have found some way
I think
out
it's
of
going
it.
to take somebody
That
that's
would be
really
interesting.
understanding to trust somebody and give them employment.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I was
because
gonna say you.
that's probably like the
I
biggest.
feel like it's a
obstacle.
rare thing for like. Would you, someone homeless, like, what are the odds you're gonna hire them if they like?
No phone, no address, no driver's
Yeah, they
license.
they haven't had a shower in a long time, so they probably don't smell the
Even
greatest.
if it is just like putting.
Yeah.
They
hard
don't
shit
look
to sit.
professional. They have no way of actually looking like how you're supposed to show up to a job interview with nice clothes, looking your best. Are you going to pick that guy over someone else that came for the job interview that might look but you know what I'm saying?
Believe it or not.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
No.
this is
I
example.
had, there's the same, looks like the same people a lot at the intersection, right, by Taco Bell.
Mhm.
There's always like a person or two at that place there. And I contemplated when I was looking for people to make hard shells, like, what about a homeless person to make hard shells? I was like, they could probably get paid in cash and do that. And
Yeah.
I think I ran it by Karen. I'm like, I don't know, like, and you're right. This is a comfort level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because-
it's different.
It's just
Mhm.
out of the norm.
like
the
I care
society
about
norms.
all people, but I care about people like I know more than a stranger.
Mhm.
Like if they can, like if there's violent or mental health issues or anything like that, or theft,
Yeah.
which affects all of us in different ways,
Mhm.
that's a real concern.
Oh yeah.
So, and then you hear stories where people get screwed over helping out homeless people, and you're like, yeah, like it just ruins it for the
Mhm.
people that actually
That
need
actually
help.
need help.
Well, yeah, and just so happens in the news, there was like this millionaire. He actually went undercover and posed as a homeless person, and he said it was like the first person that walks up and helps him is getting like he's gonna be like the heir to his everything. But I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a publicity stunt, but it still sounds pretty cool. But
I don't know what the answer is. I just know for me personally that if I have a few extra dollars in my pocket, I'm gonna get it to somebody else who needs it.
Mhm.
Whatever they do with it.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they go buy alcohol with it to make their night a little bit better, I know that I at least,
yeah,
or let's say they're not actually, let's say they're panhandlers and they make more money than I do, because that's apparently a thing too.
yeah,
At least I know at the end of the day that I had good intentions and I can be able to sleep with my
right,
that night.
yeah,
I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there actually is a cut and dry answer, to be honest.
yeah. Because, and then there is something to be said about watching, like, because, like, yeah, I see. If I see someone struggling, okay, yeah, if I have the means to help them, if I can, I will. But my thing is, I'll always look after my family first. I'll always think like, that who comes first for me is my family. So if money is tight and I don't have a lot, I'm sorry, I'm going to save that for my family. But that's just, and I think that's how a lot of people think. I think that's why, because I don't think that not too many people have good intentions. I feel like a lot of people have good intentions, but it's just one of those things where it's like, well, my family comes first, and you can't really ever fault anybody for that.
Yeah. So you were saying, Josh, some of the barriers that popped up in that was like without an address, it's hard to get a bank account, and that's one of the biggest barriers to employment.
Yeah, you can't get, you have no permanent residence. I mean, how are you going to get a paycheck or a direct deposit a lot of places with nothing? You have nothing. You don't even have an ID a lot of times. Like, what are you going to... And that's another thing. Like, you can't get a bank account or anything without an ID. And
then I was gonna say, like,
it's just...
thinking of like the process of getting a job, like phone calls are usually like you usually have one or two phone calls before the interview, and then
I've seen several homeless people with phones while they're waiting.
well,
I don't know any of the circumstances.
Yeah.
I think that
But I
government
see
phones,
it.
their thing. Like, and they're even
Yeah, it's
smartphones now. Like, it's not like they're even little flip phones.
There's government
Oh, really?
assisted
Yeah.
programs.
They're like-
Yeah.
I think they're like...
Yeah, they're like $20 a month or something like that, maybe. I'm sure they're limited though. And I think the phones are free under the program.
Or you go close to some building
Or you
with
go to
free Wi-Fi.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it is difficult, I think. I think those are hurdles for sure. The driver's license.
Yeah.
Because don't you have to have like identification to have a job?
I don't. Places all have different policies. As far as I'm trying to think, what's required, like the social is
Security,
required. Address, I'm pretty sure is required for tax purposes. I don't think anything else is actually
reliable
required because you could do cash. It's accounting. It raises IRS questions because of accounting, but it's not illegal. You could do paper checks, which you can get check cashed at places. Payroll checks typically for extra added fees, of course. But address would be a barrier.
Yeah, I believe so too. I don't know. I just think it's just one of those really hard things. If we could fix it, I'm pretty sure we would. I mean,
I think we would have if we could.
we would have if we could, but I think it just goes way deeper than we even realize because we've been fortunate enough to not be in that situation. But it's one of those things where you really think about it, if you were in that situation, like it'd be a nightmare. It would just be. So you can't help but feel for those people. But
I bet a lot of those people too. Like I think right now, I could be resourceful enough to never have to get to that point. Like there's a lot of steps along the way to like we live in an apartment now. It's 4 of you kids in 1 bedroom. Like we're just gonna deal with this as long as we have to, kind of thing. And you'd think you could prevent it from happening, but I bet most people that are there thought they could have prevented it from happening too.
Yeah.
So probably.
We're also fortunate that we have a big enough family that I don't think our family would let any of us.
I did read the biggest group that people are homeless are typically single males with no family. Not single males, just single
people.
Adults with no family at all is usually the homeless person.
You feel like somebody would take you in if you had some level of connection.
I mean, there are whole families that are homeless. Like there's like tent cities in LA.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but like, so there are families that are homeless, but they say like it's usually the single adult.
You always feel like a single adult male. Almost always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, we have customers that deal with like homeless students because they'll ask for donations and such all the time. We have a whole homeless population or home student population. I can't imagine.
All right, well, that's all I got on that topic.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
All right. Well, there you have it.